highlighted by all the media where the 13 or 14-year-old tribal girl was raped inside the police station by the police people for days. In 2022, I actually quit my corporate work, came back to Odisha and started working to build safe Odisha for her. Average in 15 minutes, a woman or a girl is raped. So we actually shared a post in LinkedIn on this key. My bank account has just 67 rupees. And I was really angry and sad at myself. Ki how come I reached here?
Today we have with us Pranay Manjari. She's the co-founder of Safe Odisha for Her and also Boulder Cha Masala. Hello Pranay, how are you?
Thank you for having me here.
So the first question that I would like to ask is, we would like to know about Safe Odisha for Her and what you have learned through your journey on how to make safe space for women.
I think being a woman is sufficient reason for all of us, right? To long for that safe space. So I think my journey is not also very unique in that way. When I was working in the development sector, and particularly in the space of labor rights and children's education, one thing I was realizing that my centers, my side schools are always full of girls children. Why? Because those programs were free for everyone, for every child. Parents were preferring to send their girls there because it's free, whereas they were willing to invest on their boys. But then, we all, not just like in the areas or in the community of the economically weaker sections. So even the spaces where people are privileged, there also gender discrimination happens. So after working for 15 years, I thought to focus on gender and particularly gender-based violence. I was working in Sundargarh during COVID-19 pandemic, and there was an incident happened at the Virumitrapur police station, and it was uh, highlighted by all the media where the 13 or 14-year-old tribal girl was raped inside the police station by the police people for days. And after a few months, when she was pregnant, she was illegally aborted. And that's when the Child Welfare Committee came to know and she was rescued. The Odisha police head had to apologize publicly to that girl. But then my point was why this is happening. And this has been happening. And every day, like if we see the statistics of NCRB in 2021, in every there was I think 86 rapes happen in any single day. So it means average in 15 minutes a woman or a girl is raped, and I should say actually a man or a group of men are raping. So I think that particular incident triggered us to take action. Though, few years before also Safety for Her, we are working in the different capacities as individuals, as a group of campaigners. We are mentoring, women, past women activists to run different public campaigns on different issues like rural infrastructure, accessing toilets by the transgender people, including Oriya language in the Google Translate. But we formally started Safe Odisha for Her, particularly after this incident at Sundargarh. It's a long journey. We don't know when each one of us will have that experience of being safe, not just in a very physical form, but also psychologically. When I'm saying psychologically, when you and I go or plan to travel, we consider, right, what time we should take that flight or train, who will travel to us to drop us to airport or railway station. So all those alertly, like we have to be super alert, or all the time to experience that safe space. So I think the intention of Safe Odisha for Her is that can we do something so that women and also people who are gender and sexual minorities group who are also more threatened and more vulnerable than the women have that space to experience safety or being at peace. So yeah, we started this journey formally in 2023, but we were working much before that also.
Okay, so recently we had a gang rape in Gopalpur also. Uh, so did you get involved with that also?
No, we have a very extremely small team without any institutional grant. Uh, what we can do is showing solidarity and also asking the right questions to the right authorities. We actually shared a post in LinkedIn on this key. Arresting the culprit is not the only thing to be done. Are we doing enough where the victim is supported? Is she supported psychologically? Is she supported what about her mental health? What about uh, the legal process that also takes care of her dignity and confidentiality? How she, her legal process is supported by the right kind of expert. But then we also got replies where the victim shaming, victim blaming was also, there. People started questioning what she was doing in the night, why with her boyfriend, she's just 20-year-old, she should focus on studies. This is not the time to, create relationship. And this is not new. And we knew these kind of comments will come. So that's why I said it's a long journey. I don't know if I will experience that space of safety in my lifetime also. But I think I don't want to die with regret that I didn't do anything. At least whatever I can do, I will do. And I can inspire others to do or to contribute.
It is very inspirational actually. And when you said like being a woman only is the reason for safer women, not many women will raise their voice against it. You are among them, and it's a hope, I would say.
Thank you.
So, and my next question would be, we see men, mostly men in chai khuttis. Women are generally not involved in chai khuttis, like in front of tea stalls. So, how do you think that your brand, the Boda Cha, right? She is the co-founder of Boda Cha Masala. So, how do you think your brand can make the
Okay, I will share a bit the connection between Sepodisa for her and Bolo Chamasella. So, in 2022, I actually quit my corporate work and came back to Odisha and started working to build Sepodisa for her. So while going through all the strategy building, talking to different people, creating our own curriculum, we decided to work on three major topics. One is on gender and entrepreneurship. We realized that the community leaders that we are creating who will work towards preventing gender-based violence, if they don't have financial independence, they will not be able to negotiate it within their own family. Forget about the community around them. And as an organization, we will not be always there, to support them financially. So our community leader must be financially independent to do the work inside their community with full ownership. So that's why we started the first fellowship, which is called Bowler Fellowship. And right, Bowler means in Oriya like female pets. So when two women exchange mango flowers and become bowler, they become lifelong friends. And we want to create that network of sisters, that network of female friends who will support each other in their time of pain, suffering. They will celebrate their success. So Bowler Fellowship started. And so we were, mentoring 26 women and trans women in creating their micro enterprise. So during that process, because I was also one of the co-founders and the leading the program, I was like, why not even I experiment those models on creating another venture, which will also create an alternative income source for me? Because after I left my work in 2022, there was no consistent income source for me at personal level. In fact, I kind of exhausted all my savings and retiring fund while building Sepodisa for her. And I remember 2023 or 2024. So 2023 December, yes. 31st December, my bank account has just 67 rupees. And I was really angry and sad at myself. Ki how come I reached here? And that till the time when I was actually getting incubated at IIM Bangalore's NSR cell on Women Startup Program, where Safe Odisha for was being incubated. But Women Startup Program was incubating all kind of entities like be it for profit or for profit. So I was also learning how to create profitable ventures, and that's why when the Bowler Fellowship kind of influenced by the Women Startup program modules. So I actually experimented my venture through Bowler Fellowship, and I have this skill like because I was in a joint family and I was working in Mumbai and Bangalore where the traffic and the travel time is was really bad and take a lot of time. But I was also a tea lover, so I make my masala in advance. And whenever and also there are unannounced guests, friends come, so I always use that masala to make tea, and people loves it. Like my sister-in-law who lives in Germany, she always whenever she leaves, she takes my masala with her. And I think on that night, December 31st night, when I was, contemplating what I will do with my personal financial needs, so I thought, why not trying this as a business venture? And in fact, through Bowler Fellowship, while I was mentoring other women to start their micro enterprise, I was also building, Bowler Masala. And fortunately, two people also came and joined, which is Anjali from Three Chariot Coffee founder, and also Samir. He's another professional from the development sector who works in the space of education. So yeah, so now we are three partners building Oroja Masala.
It's a very interesting concept actually. So Say Odisha for her is a non-profit organ.
Yeah.
And Vodaj Sala, I think
It is going to be for profit because we are now starting. We just launched our product. We are intending to make it as a startup, by registering at a DPIT. So, but we want to experiment how our products are also being reviewed by the customers. But yes, we have received good feedbacks by our customers or the users who have used this masala. And to your also question how this is also incline like this is also contribute towards building safe spaces. Yes, so how we are looking forward is it's anyway the two founders are open, Anjali and me, and right now because it's basically us who are doing the production directly. It's like handmade masala. We are not using any machines or we don't have factories. But then when we will have more customers, it will be difficult to do with a small team. So we want to hire all our workers who are women or transparent so that they also get the opportunity to work to earn livelihood. Um, so I think yeah, that's the first step towards civic space.
okay. Thank you. So women feel guilty that when you do something for their own pleasure. Okay. So the society basically makes them feel so. So what do you think can change?
So now I can also remember another aspect that you have added in your previous question about the tea stalls. Yes, so and I think all of us have the same experience. Like if you now say me go back to village and stay, I will not. Not because I don't like villages. I was born and brought up in village. Did my schooling in villages up to 10th and I was doing my 11th and 12th in Kandrapada College. In fact, I had not visited till I completed my 12th. Okay. But then, so there is no space for women in villages when it comes to have a social engagement other than if you are not part of SSGs, which is also very recent phenomenon. But when if you go to any square, any chalk, any chora, or any village market, you'll always find men playing cards, having teas. There are no men. I remember 2018, like when 2017, I lost my mother to a sudden illness. And so I frequently travel to my village to meet my father. So whenever I go, my father used to take me to to his friends or relatives' house, and he loves the tea. So there are these small squares, right, on the highways where there are tea stalls. So he will stop there, and both of us will have tea. But he never took me to the village square where he takes tea. Because there you are a known person, right? You are someone's daughter. People know you. So there you are not allowed. And also, I remember particularly that incident in 2018 when my father took me to that tea stall. So it was full of men, and my father asked me to sit there on that bench. And people were literally looking at me because I was the only woman who was sitting in that tea stall. And it's a village, rural spaces. Yeah, so we want to, in fact, Saifuri for her, core team member Sonali Priyadarshini, who is also working on an idea called Extraordinary. So, in our extraordinary space, the idea of women to have the space of leisure, or to have, in fact, they say that rest is not a privilege, rest is actually a right, for a woman. And we're also experimenting that. So, yes, we want to claim the public spaces. We want to claim that these tea stalls where women are not visible, or they were remain invisible. So, Bolja Masala is also an effort towards building that space of claiming rights, or claim to be visible.
I think it is a way to fight discrimination and also suppression against women. So I actually love the name Bola Cha Masala. Can you elaborate on why you chose this name for your brand?
The first thing, because Bola Cha Masala was, in a way, got created within Bola Fellowship. And Bola, at a very personal level, Bola, I relate with Bola because it is the solidarity, it is the sisterhood, it's the female friendship that it like that it milled. So that's why yeah, Bola Cha Masala, I kind of told that name from that fellowship in a way. And I also remember during our board fellowship incubation residential workshop, there is a professor from XIM who was a panelist and who is also a mentor to us. And he was like, Rani, why we're not starting Bora Services Enterprise Limited? Like, so it's too big now. We are a very small organization. We are a very small team. But I think that also inspired that he kind of, um, you know, he ignited that thought that Bolo can be a big company or public limited company also. So yeah.
It was lovely talking to you, and you are inspirational. Thank you so much for giving us this time, and we had a lovely conversation.
Thank you so much.